Hot takes. We all hate them, but nobody hates Igor. He's perfect. I went over to the disgraceful x.com, formerly known as Twitter, better known as Twitter, and I asked the people of Igor, you wanna chill? And I asked the people of x.com their best and worst whatever hot takes of Brawl Stars. What is gonna get people fuming? Igor, buddy, you're gonna make me go crazy. You gotta chill. What I love you so much. I think Gray and Chester would be a cute couple. I guess that's a hot take. Fame is perfect. Okay, now we're getting into real hot take territory here. A lot of people would disagree with this, but I don't think this is necessarily wrong. Igor, you need to get your tail out of my camera. Bro, stop. In my humble opinion, fame is perfect for what it does. It's a useless mechanic because it literally doesn't do anything. It just shows a flashy thing on your account and it does that perfectly. That is it. Could it be better? I think so. So I don't think it's perfect, but like it's perfect for what it was made to do. Hot take, Clash Mini over Brawl Stars. Heck no, dude. You even got ratioed 43-11. You went too far there. No, I agree, dude. I don't think that Clash Mini's above them, bro. I personally haven't even touched Clash Mini that much because I don't think it's the most interesting game that they're coming up with. But Clash Mini's been there for a while, though. So if it does come out globally, I might play it and I might make content on it. I feel the devs don't realize that we don't get star powers and gadgets from boxes anymore, and we actually have to buy every single one of them, and we need a lot more coin. In other words, there's a coin drought again because boxes were removed, and yeah, I can see that. Mortis shouldn't be bad just because he's popular. Let's look through this, okay? The most popular brawlers, from my knowledge, is Mortis, Edgar, Janet, Surge. That's what a lot of people talk about, right? Surge is good, Janet's kind of mid because she got nerfed a lot, and Mortis and Edgar suck. They're at the bottom. But let's look into why. So Mortis and Edgar have similar playstyles where it's kind of all or nothing. When you go in, you're either gonna die or you're gonna kill everybody. And Edgar is too low skill cap. Like, I see some people saying that Edgar's high skill cap. No, he has the same fundamentals as every other brawler. You can dodge the same way with Edgar as everybody else, but Edgar takes a lot of strategy. You have to know when to go in, and it's the same thing with Mortis. And they share the same hard counters. So they're both bad, but they're both popular because they have a fun play style, but they're bad because so many brawlers counter them. And I don't think it's because they're popular, but I do see an argument where if they get buffed too much, since they're so popular, they're gonna be everywhere, and if they're too good, they're gonna be a nuisance. The young age and immaturity of the community holds Brawl back from tapping into its full potential. This is likely due to it being a mobile game. That's kind of a lukewarm take because even when Clash Royale is in a really bad state, it still has an insane player count because most of the Clash Royale players are able to like cope with it. But it seems like in Brawl Stars, when there's a bad update, people just quit. And when you said this is likely due to it being a mobile game, that brings up a big point because out of every Supercell game, Brawl Stars has the single most potential to be a PC game or a console game. This might be a hot take from me, but realistically, there's ways to bind the controls in Brawl Stars onto a keyboard and a mouse, and there's ways to bind the controls to a controller. So control-wise, it would already work. I think the only problems, maybe company-related stuff in the backlines and maybe update-related stuff with like servers and a lot of weird things. And it's not like Supercell has any PC games in the first place. Maybe they want to do that eventually, and it's seriously one of my biggest hopes that someday, if Supercell really figures out what they want to do with PC or console or anything like that, if they really want to branch out, then I seriously hope that they consider making Brawl Stars a cross-platform game. That is by far the biggest way to like expand their horizons away from just mobile, and that would single-handedly make Brawl Stars their biggest game because like there's millions more PC gamers that don't play mobile. There's millions of console gamers that don't play mobile. In fact, a lot of PC and console players do not like the idea of playing mobile at all. So if Supercell really wanted to expand their player base, this is the game to do it because this game has the most intuitive controls for other devices and it would just work. Supercell's running out of new brawler mechanic ideas. This is kind of right, but also kind of wrong. I've seen somewhat of a theme with newer brawlers, like let's say RT, he has this new mark mechanic. No other brawler has that in the entire game. So it's a unique mechanic, but then his main attack is just a straight line like 50 other brawlers, and his super turns him into Jackie number 2. So there's one new mechanic, but then the rest of the mechanics are recycled. And then something like Mandy, her attack is a straight line, but she has this new range mechanic, and then she also has a unique super. Doug has a respawn, but then his attack is really boring because it's recycled with Jackie again. But the revive, brand new mechanic, no other brawler has that. It seems like they don't want to use every idea on every new brawler, so they just mix new ideas with recycled stuff. All in all, there are recycled features, but they're not like completely out of ideas. They're just kind of sparing ideas. Chromatics is just legendary, but way better. And that there is exactly my problem with Chromatic. There are so many Chromatic brawlers, but I feel like they're taking away from other rarities. Legendary used to be this super special rarity where like everything that a legendary brawler had was completely unique from anything else in the game. Pro's Poison, he was the only person with it. Spike's Weird Attack, he's still the only person with it. Leon was the first brawler with invisibility. Sandy is the second brawler with invisibility. They're really unique, but now Chromatics are becoming like even more unique in a way. But then like, for example, there's Bonnie, who is a shape-shifting thing, and then there's also Meg, who does the same thing. The game got too many updates and fell off. I don't even think that's like too hot of a take, because it's literally just true that the game fell off from its peak. It's not like a dead game, but like even in like Fortnite terms, like Fortnite used to be this massive game that everybody talked about all the time, and now like nobody talks about it. So did it fall off? Yeah, kinda, but it still has a lot of players, and it still pulls millions of views on YouTube and stuff. It's just not a mainstream game anymore, and I feel like it's kind of similar with Brawl Stars, where it used to be like this new big thing back in its first few years. But I'm gonna say it, ever since the Brawl Pass, it seems like a consistent thing with video games where once you get this pass, it just becomes recycled content over and over and over again. Every single season feels pretty much the same with a different theme, but in general, you know what to expect. With a Brawl Pass though, I'm pretty sure every single season we've had a pretty similar thing where it's like guaranteed one chromatic brawler, so that's why they don't feel special at all, and then potential for one or two other brawlers, and then a new game mode that will most likely be deleted in 2 months, and a couple quality of life features, some skins, and that's it. I don't remember anything that's been like too crazy special ever since the Brawl Pass came out. I know I'm forgetting a lot of stuff like, you know, Power League, Club League, all that stuff, but in general, Power League and Club League are different ways of playing the exact same game, so I don't see it as anything like too crazy. And you're probably wondering like, what is different enough for me, right? Listen, I've been playing video games since I spawned in this world, okay? I've literally been grinding video games since the dawn of time. And I know some people on the Brawl team also have been doing that. I've also never been a game dev, so I can't give like a god tier opinion here. One of my favorite games ever was Fortnite, right? And the problem with Fortnite, the reason why that kind of fell off is because they had too many updates, that's for sure. I feel like if they went back in time, back to the beginning, it would actually be larger than it is now. But what Fortnite could have done is they could have added all these insane updates, but then like left a way to play the game that it once was, so then players who like the old game can still play it, and players who really like this new stuff can still play it. This is a reason why Minecraft never falls off. You can play any mode that you want to play, and while there's always new stuff coming, it in general feels similar, but then you have other options to do. And for Brawl Stars, it kind of feels like we're in this cycle where occasionally there is this new big thing, but then it just gets deleted from the game every time. Like now we're back to only having, what, 4, maybe 5 modes in rotation when we once had more than that. And in one of the most recent Brawl Talks, they were talking about adding new, big, specifically fun features in the game. And what is fun in Brawl Stars? At least in my opinion, something that doesn't feel recycled. I think the reason why modes like Basket Brawl, Takedown, Lone Star, and all those things always end up getting deleted from the game due to them not having enough players is because they're not unique enough. They kind of just take the format of other modes and then spin it a little bit and then spit it out. And even duels for that matter, like they still have the same map size as every other 3v3 mode, but it's a 1v1, so it should be different, right? That's why I'm thinking, like if they ever bring duels back, maybe they could just completely revamp it to be something completely different with like special mechanics or like power-ups that you can pick up or different elements in the map, something to really shake things up specifically for duels. And like for example, Gem Grab has the train. That's the only time they've ever done something crazy like that with a specific map or a specific mode. I know that they've had like the tilty ship thing, but that just got people sick. Maybe each mode that you unlock can become even more complex. Like Siege is the most complex mode in the game, and that's why a lot of kids didn't like it, because it actually required more thought than just like go in, control this one point, and then win. Siege is you control the point, then you get this bot, then you go attack or defend, and then you go back to controlling, and you do more than one thing at once in Siege, and that's why I actually love it. I think Siege is the only mode in the entire game that actually expands upon the concept of 3v3 Brawl Stars. It's the only one. Brawl Ball is also special in a way, and that's why it's the most popular in the entire game, because It's the only mode where you got this ball that you got to score in the enemy net. And Brawl Ball is a really aggressive game mode, while Gem Grab, Hot Zone, even stuff like Heist and everything else, it's more like control based, and that's the entirety of the mode. I am rambling way too much on this one hot take. What is wrong with me? Listen, this might be a hot take of my own, but what I'm trying to say is if Brawl Stars wants to add more fun to the game, they shouldn't do it in like these little micro things that only like 1% of players are even gonna be able to use, or something that seems fun but then in reality ends up not really being that fun at all. I feel like they gotta go big or go home. And by going big, I mean something brand new, something that takes the concept of Brawl Stars but brings it up a level, maybe up a level in skill cap, or really anything. I feel like if it feels different, great. If it feels the same as some other mode that's already been deleted, then nah, like skip that. I don't want this rant to take away from the fact that I love the Brawl Stars dev team and I have a lot of trust in them in being able to, I guess, revive the game in a way, because I guess it's at a low point right now. And I do still think that the Brawl Stars team is the best Supercell team that we got, so I think that they can do it. Delete Crow! This is the hottest take ever. You're banned. Bling isn't a good feature, especially for those who pay for skins. I personally started to have less and less bond to my skins, as now I just refer to them as some sort of progression along the way. I don't know. I mean, I feel like having skins is better than not having them. Like, I get what you're talking about. You're getting more skins for free, so you don't have that much of a bond with them, because like, let's say you get a $10 iTunes gift card for your birthday and you spend that on a skin, you're gonna feel pretty close with that skin. I understand that feeling, but like having more skins is better than not having skins, so I don't really understand this. Mortis just isn't that fun to play. I understand this as well, because he gets countered like crazy, and if you're kind of bad with him, then you're not gonna have fun. I get that. The last update was one of the best updates for the game. Crow is overrated. What is up with the Crow hate posts here, bro? If Supercell can't fix teaming in Showdown, then they should just remove this game mode because of how degrading the gameplay experience can be. Seriously, teaming is so annoying, I hate it. That's a bit far. This is a pretty hot take. I do think that teaming is a limiting factor for Showdown to even reach its peak potential. Like, this doesn't look like fun gameplay, especially for the one person who's just getting killed like by 6 other people. That's not fun to play. I mean, maybe for some people it is, but like in concept, I don't think it is. Like every other game that is a battle royale, which this is, bans players for teaming. And obviously Brawl Stars won't do that because everybody would get banned. But they did have methods to reduce teaming in the past, but then they just deleted them. And ever since they removed those things like the healing mushrooms, the meteors, and the energy drink, it just makes the game more stale. I feel like having this randomly rotating event makes it more interesting because it's different more often. Star drops are much better than boxes. Ooh, I don't know how to feel about this one. I mean, I guess you can, you know, I understand why some people have that opinion, but part of me is actually starting to miss boxes. I think in the long run, it's a good thing that they were removed, but boxes were such an integral part of like the surprise and fun of Brawl Stars that just doesn't really exist anymore. I know that Star Drops was an attempt to do that, and maybe it's just because I'm maxed out, but I never get that because, yeah, I have everything, so it's not like I can get anything. So for me personally, Star Drops have been nothing. It's just like I click it, I go through, I get nothing, and I just go on with my day. Blue Super is the most toxic super in the game, and it shouldn't get it easier with supercharge gear. I kind of understand this one. That super is pretty toxic. Like, once you get hit by it, it's so hard to get out of it, and then you get frozen, and then you just get frozen again, and then you're just dead. If Lou had a better main attack, he would not have a super that strong. Premium tier Brawl Pass sucks after tier 30. There's so much useless cosmetics that I'll probably never use. This is kind of something that they brought up in the latest Brawl Talk when they talked about the future, and I believe they brought up just the Brawl Pass in general, like if they could add more to it to add more of an incentive to get it rather than just getting specific rewards in it. But I do agree that, like, I feel like most people just get the Brawl Pass to get the Brawler early. Clash Royale and Clash of Clans both have features where when you buy the Brawl Pass, then your daily use of the game becomes easier or more accessible in some way. Star Drops hurt progression. This really depends on how lucky you are, because if you're lucky, it could actually buff your progression. If you're not, it's not gonna buff it, it's gonna nerf it. Yeah, Otis is a fun and unique brawler. I can see why people would find him fun. I don't think he's that unique though. I mean, his main attack is pretty similar to a lot of other brawlers, but his super, he has a silence, right? But then there's Cordelius who just steals that as a gadget, which I think is really weird. If a super is so simple that another brawler can just take it as their gadget, I think that there's a bit of a problem there. Edgar isn't the worst brawler. He's actually a decent last pick in Power League. My randoms here, I repeat, last pick. The reason why he's the worst brawler in the game, or at least considered the worst by the community, is the fact that he has so many hard counters. So the fact that he's a good last pick makes sense, because if you can counter somebody else and maybe they don't pick Edgar counters, perfect, that's a good last pick. So in that sense, yeah, he's not the worst brawler. The problem is with like ladder or anything where you don't have that choice, he's terrible, because like so many brawlers in this game hard counter him. If they don't counter him with their super or their main attack, they're gonna counter him with the gadget. Sprout is the most skilled thrower. I wonder if this guy's a Sprout main. Objectively, I do think that this is true though, because Sprout has like the hardest or weirdest to aim attack out of all of them. Tick's is kind of weird too, but Tick is so much easier than Sprout in my opinion. And you could do some really cool stuff with his walls as well, so I agree with this. But yeah, there's a lot of posts here, so I can't go through all of them. That's gonna do it for this one. If you want more hot takes, then I'll consider doing a part 2 at some point. Actually, I just saw one right here. Siege is one of the most strategic and skilled modes in the game. 71 likes on this one. I feel like that's not even a hot take. I mean, some people just say Siege sucks because they're bad at it or they don't like the gameplay loop of it. I think that Siege is by far the most strategic mode, and I feel like they should add more game modes like that. Not exactly like Siege, but more complex and more strategic. I feel like that's a good thing for the game's health and the future of the game. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the hot takes. If you don't subscribe for Igor, what are you doing? Look at him, he needs subscribers, he's desperate. And yeah, bye.